I had the opportunity to sit down at the Kansas City St. Jude Dream Home with a local family who knows what it means to be a family of the one. Tell me all about Annie.
Annie was a very spunky, happy, just easy to raise kid. She was just fantastic, always happy, always wanted to snuggle up into your lap, just loved being around family, just loved sitting and listening and just taking everything in.
And one day she just started getting tired, but she kind of was always a little bit of a tired kid anyway, and she started having headaches, but finally one day my mom was watching her and she's like, you know what, something's not right with Annie. So I went to go get her and she just wasn't herself and she wasn't even moving her leg very well. And I've got to go to the ER. We've got to figure out what's going on. So we did. We went to the ER and that's when they discovered the brain tumor.
I called everybody I knew. I called in every favor I had. And I said, what should I do? Where should I go? And when the idea of St. Jude came up, it was just a piece that we had, that this is where we should be.
It was hard to see all the kids and knowing that they were, most of them, in the very same situation she was in. But I also knew that we were in the best place we could ever be.
We had a hard time saying cancer to her, so we called it the bump in her head, and so she always says, yeah, there's this bump, they're gonna try to remove it, and let me show you to my doctor, and these are my nurses, and she had confidence in what was going on, even though she was only 5 years old.
Take me to July of 2011.
Tough day.
Tough day. Well, you have to know that up until the very end, we were praying for a miracle.
Knowing that because we were at St. Jude, this was the best we possibly could have done. And we could be comforted and unhappy in the result, but comforted in knowing that there's just nothing else to do. And this was the best possible closure we could have with Annie. It's just, death of a loved one is tough. Death of a child is really tough.
Yeah, I remember before Annie got sick, I remember getting a postcard from St. Jude and I turned it over and I thought, I cannot look at those kids right now. I just can't do it. And then suddenly, in a matter of 6 months, we were one of those kids. And I just remember thinking, I'm so grateful for people that gave to St. Jude's when they didn't have to, when they didn't know somebody that was there. And so many of our family members and so many of our friends have told me I've given to St. Jude's for years. And so that was very powerful for us, and we are so appreciative of St. Jude. I feel like we look at Annie with nothing but love and happiness and no regrets. And we still have hope that Annie's legacy is continuing. We're hoping that there's hope in the future for other kids that have cancer, that, maybe, just maybe, her legacy is to cure cancer.
What if they call it Annie's treatment?
Yeah, what if they called it Annie's treatment? Wouldn't that be something?
As we gather together as a Kansas City community for the St. Jude Dream Home giveaway, let us remember the one. Let us remember Annie. Children like Annie are why we need fundraisers like the Kansas City St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. And it's why we need you. Now that paint is done, it's time for the sinks and countertops to go in. The driveway is poured and the tile install is wrapping up. We are ready to bring in the furniture. Tickets are only $100 for the 2025 Kansas City St. Jude Dream Home giveaway. Win a brand new house and other wonderful prizes, and together, let's support the kids of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit dreamhome.org today.